Good day guys, PNSO is finally taking a break for the Chinese New Year, and that gives our wallets some respite, as well as time for me to look at some dragons I've neglected. And since Chinese New Year is just around the corner, let's have a look at the Figure Builder Heavenly Eye Mizutsune from the Monster Hunter mythos. Now, not exactly a Chinese dragon, but based on it, with a serpentine form that Asiatic dragons have. Now, in the Monster Hunter mythos, Mizutsune is a leviathan, monsters with this kind of long, slender body, as we saw with the Lagiacrus. Now, like most of the other figure builders, it's surprisingly detailed and textured. In general, this dragon is a pink-green pellet, and Mizutsune is a very furry and finny dragon, taking cues from the traditional Chinese dragon, but changes certain elements to make it unique. For instance, where the Chinese dragon has a bushy tail, Mizutsune has taken it to an extreme. It's proportionately huge, and look how very finely textured this is, very finely detailed. And this is further brought out by a silvery dry brushing, which highlights the texture even more. On the dorsal surface are these pink paired fins dashed with orange and possibly homologs of the pennant-like fins that we see in the Chinese dragon. And even at this size, you can see the blend of colors on these small structures. And these fins repeat up here, where there is a triple row, the central being really huge, and they take on a greater translucence and are streaked with orange markings and some eye spots, as you see here. Look very nice indeed. Now, as for the fur that you see on the hock and the elbow of the Chinese dragon, in Mizutsune, that's been expanded all the way up the hamstrings here. So it goes from the hock to hamstring on the legs. And likewise on the elbow, it's no longer a small little tuft, but rather a more extensive expansion, giving the illusion of a bladed weapon, and not to mention a cool looking elbow spike that would be impossible on a real animal. But because it is fur, it gets away with that, while still looking very much like it. Very nice elbow spike, forearm blade kind of structure over here. There is yet more silvery application of paint and dry brush in a grey paint for an accent. Not just that, but the fur actually runs up the trunk on both sides. You see that it is indeed a very furry animal. Now that contrasts with the fact that it's also very scaly, as you'd expect a dragon to be. Now you can see the scale detail differing obviously between the ventral and the dorsal side. And down the neck here, then you have the more traditional carp-like scale into an almost crocodilian, scute-like armor on the sides. Before changing into a different type of mosaic in the dorsal tail. And in the arms, and down the legs, yet a slightly different morphology of scale. So again, plenty of detail for such a small figure. Now the pennant homologs continue up here on the neck and even replace what are the mane and the whiskers on the Chinese dragon. Now they've now gone from a pinkish bias to a much redder tint. And you can see that here the fin-like structures again in a triple row. And over here, where they take the place of where the Chinese dragon's mane and beard would be. I like that kind of cohesiveness of design where you get a motif that's repeated throughout the animal, tying everything together. Now the eye is tiny, which never ceases to astound me with all the figure builders, how such a minute part can be painted so precisely. The other side, however, has no eye, but rather a near translucent blue streak. And that's a feature of the Heavenly Eye variant, which is a normal Mizutsune that was blinded in a fight long ago. And now, during a fight, that lost eye will actually emit a blue flame, as you can see here. Now finally, to put everything together, there's a stand here with a D-shaped peg that we've seen before in other figure builders, which goes in very easily into goes in very easily unless you're on camera with performance issues. There. I just love this pose. It's a very aesthetically pleasing spiral, and you can just imagine the fluidity of this serpentine form as it swims or flies upwards. With these fins and tail expansion, just looks really beautiful, and perhaps accentuating that movement. Now I haven't done a size comparison before, but I really wanted to give you an idea of how small these figure builder dragons really are. So here I have the collected Psittacosaurus, the collected Excalibursaurus, and the wild safari Coelophysis. And finally, maybe something a bit more familiar, the PNSO Sauropelta. Well, it's been a while to get to my dragons, and I hope to take advantage of the temporary PNSO break to show you some of them. Now, each dragon I have is really very beautiful in its own way, and I hope to introduce you to more of them in time to come. So, have a great week ahead, guys.